You fall down, get up. You fall down, get up. You fall down, pull yourself out the mud. You fall down, get up. You fall down, get up. You fall down, pull yourself out the mud. You don't ever get to choose your trials, tribulations, or blues, child. But still it's your cross to bear. Ain't nobody said it was fair. Oh, you fall down, get up, fall down, get up, fall down, pull yourself out the mud. Ah, you fall down, get up, fall down, get up, fall down, pull yourself out the mud. All right. Welcome to the mud. Yo. What's happening, y'all? It's your boy GP, Goldie Pipes, and I'm up in the mud. And this is the Mud Podcast. Welcome out, yo. Dig it. I have a good friend of mine, very special guest. Everybody's a special guest, but this guy's specialer. I made that up tonight. I've been knowing this brother for a very, very long time. I give round numbers, but I say about 15 years, something like that.
Just about.
Before my beard was gray. That's how long I've been knowing this cat. And so I don't even really know how to introduce him. I'm going to ask him that in just a second. But y'all give a virtual dap to my main man, as I call him, Joseph, Brother Joseph.
Yes,
my man, Joe B. Joe.
Yes.
What's up, brother?
Keep him busy.
Yeah.
Keep him busy. How you, brother?
Hey, man, shit, I'm cranking, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So living the dream. I'm creating the dream. That's what I'm doing. We're creating the dream. Trybal Klef in the building, baby.
Yes, indeed. Trybal Klef all day.
So, I want to start with this. Like I said, I don't know how to introduce you, and so I want to get a different, because you do a lot of different things. You know, you're an author, you're a poet. I want you to explain this off the top, and then I'll get into how I know you. But spoken word artist versus poet. Is it a synonymous thing? Because some people are really on, no, I'm a spoken word artist. You know, is it synonymous? Is there some difference of, explain to me that and how you like to be addressed.
When it comes to a poet versus a spoken word artist, with spoken word, there's a much more obvious performance aspect to it. Mm-hmm. And that's the official definition, but in my opinion, to be a spoken word artist, your job is to bring the words off the page.
Okay.
Because if the poem is about how somebody shot your dog when you were 7, when you're done reading it, I need to feel bad about your dog, and I need to want to go home and hug my dog. Yeah. You got to bring the words off. If all you're going to do is just recite, then all you are is a poet.
Which no shit on that, no shade on
none
that.
At all.
But you're a poet,
right?
Not a spoken word artist,
right? You can recite. I've seen some of the greatest poets of the world just simply recite their words, and then that's done, and that's it. Yeah. But as a spoken word artist, you have that challenge of engaging the audience. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about grandstanding, which I do see a lot of, but that's another story. You'll see what your job is to, like, say, for example, I've had, one of my favorite poets and a good friend of mine, Ebony Stewart, she used to teach me to, whenever I'm on stage, for the hardest parts of my poem, for the lines that hit the hardest, look in between two people in the crowd. Neither one of them will know who you're talking to, but you're bringing them in. With whether you're doing slam poetry or just spoken word, period, your job is to, with that time, close yourself in a nutshell, make yourself the ruler of infinite space, and make people wonder where the time went when you were done talking.
Nice.
Because you've brought them into something. You've given the poem to them, basically.
So first of all, don't be coming all up on my show with all this deep shit in infinite space. And see, he's a poet. He's like straight up. Like the infinite space. I'm trying to think. Okay,
it's a part of my upbringing.
What did he mean by this?
I went to Cambridge for lunch.
Cambridge.
They have a fine salad there.
So dig it. Like spoken word.
before, I mean, a lot of people don't, I've lived different lives,
Mm-hmm.
and you've known me through, a few of my iterations.
Right.
That's how long we've known each other.
Mm-hmm.
But in Houston, which I've H-time, baby,
Hey.
I want to give a quick, piece of my background, because most people don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been singing my whole life. I started rapping when I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
Started recording when I was 14. So I was always doing something in music.
Yeah.
And then I got into a situation where I teamed up with this. It was I'm gonna use this for a generic term, but a screwed and chopped. Shout out to DJ Screw. Shout out to Screwed Up Click. Shout out to Swisher House and Watts. But I got with this crew called Belway 8. My man Mike Mo. And we went around the country doing basically we record music and we'll just go to a gas station in Kansas and just hop out and sell CDs
out the trunk.
So I straight out the trunk.
Yes.
Guerrilla hustling, like we called it. So I did that, but then when I came, it was like it was something missing from my artistry when I was on on the coming down kind of music, which really wasn't my thing, but I found my lane and we were making some money, so I was doing it.
Yeah.
But when I got back to Houston after I last go around that I was with him, I was like, man, I need to say some shit, and I need to find an audience that want to hear that shit, because I was rapping with like. We had, the South Park Coalition. Shout out to K Reno and the South Park Coalition. But when I was coming up, Houston was about lyricism. Now it was gangster as shit. It was head busting, but it was lyrical.
Yeah.
And so I was just on this real heavy lyrical stuff. And so when the screwed up culture started taking over, it was more of a surface level street culture, how we living, and not necessarily bars. And so I didn't fit.
Right.
And so I had, when that time came along and I got with Belway, I had to fit, but I didn't want to fit no more. I wanted to go back to my bars. And I was like, so, okay, how can I get somebody in Houston to want to hear what I got to say?
Yeah.
Because the radio ain't playing that shit.
Nah.
So it was like, I'm going to go to this poetry scene. So I checked out some poetry, and then I ended up jumping around, and I got into the spoken word community. And I would just spit my rhymes a cappella. And I would just, sing a cappella. And so it was like, okay, these cats are talking about some shit. You know what I mean? So in that sphere, when the spoken word artist, it's a presentation.
Right.
Like you say, grandstanding, but no, it's a presentation. It's theater.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Am I on that? Or?
You are right. And it's like I said, it's while we're on the subject of Houston, Houston is a prime example of Houston is a prime example of what I talk about when I talk about, bring people into the work, bring the audience into the work with you without trying to be like anything anybody else has ever heard. Because that's something, me seeing Houston from afar, that's one thing I've attributed their Houston scene to, is not trying to be like anybody else. When Houston came up, especially the rap scene, Houston wasn't trying to be like Atlanta. Houston wasn't trying to be like LA or California. Houston wasn't trying to be like New York. Houston was Houston. They weren't trying to be like, hey, we can be like y'all too. Houston was like, fuck that, we're here, and y'all can come and see about it.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying?
Very much so.
So it's like when it comes, there's a fine line between the grandstanding and the pure performance.
Okay.
And one thing I've seen, whenever non-poets or non-spoken word artists like musicians or singers, when they would come through and feature at poetry venues, the ones that did the best were the ones that were giving their heart instead of just trying to be like super sensational, super out there. And I've seen that. I've seen poets do that. But whether you're a poet or you're a musician, the artist that's always going to thrive, no matter what, is the one that gives their heart and pulls the audience in as a result. Instead of just saying, let me just be so loud you don't know what happened, and you're going to want to buy my CD when I'm done.
So dig this. I damn near was laughing at the beginning when I started asking you like the difference between a spoken word artist and a poet, and that's because as you were explaining it, this damn vision came in my head of what spoken word was to me. My first introduction to spoken word, and I'm not talking about me when I was in the scene that I just explained to you.
Right.
Mine was, what is high?
Oh my God.
What is higher?
Let me tell you.
What is
learning?
What was it? Higher learning, right?
Yes.
What is learning? What it is? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like that was spoken word to me. You know what I mean? It's like, so everybody like poetry, it's like I just bust out laughing because it's that guy. What this high? That
Your smile at the very front of my mind shines brighter than the sun in front of my face. The sun was so bright I had to then close my eyes. I then saw your smile, and it then took the sun's place. So I started recording every instance that you smiled at me. I play them back for my enjoyment. Memories of you amass on my heart in rapid deployment. So I believe that you are what love and joy meant when they both told me, please, just be patient. And while all other women $1 and you just 15 cents, I'm taking the nickel and dime every time because you are welcome change. And whether or not you think me strange, you forgive me for not being tall, or for that matter, a thug, making you the cure versus the drug. See, you remedy me with your hugs, you tend to my wounds with just your smile, and I can speak very well of the voodoo that you do with just your kisses. But I am afraid that would take quite a while. And though I can lay each word down on the ground, watch them go on for mile after mile after mile, why would I even bother when I could just kiss you to relay my sentiment, show my appreciation? For upon my doubts you have wrought pure devastation, loved me with unrivaled open-mindedness, killed quite a few of my demons with just your kindness. And to this day, my bad dreams are scared to death of you. And in exchange for loving me without provocation, I would take your each and every burden from above you, lay them on the ground before you, and I'd set it all on fire. I'd use the heat from said pyre to warm your feet and let you heal. And use the heat to cook you some food for thought. And later on, after you've had your fill, you and I would just lay still by that very same fire. And somehow between the fire and my heart's embers, your heart will grow warm enough to accept and remember the possibility of becoming the woman you have wanted to be. And if you still could not believe that I could love you, then baby, I would just stay. I'd stay until you received your sign. I'd give you every reason to just lower your shields because I have renounced mine. You see, my devotion for you knows nothing but death, and like a dying man with hope knows ain't too much else left, baby, if you would allow me, I would lick every single scar on your body just to savor the sweetness of your victory over whatever caused it. And in exchange for the fact that you are heaven sent, I would take your each and every ounce of grief and lament until I embodied all of it, and I would up and die. And when my spirit finally left that vessel, I'd possess the very next man even remotely capable of loving you like I do. I would die for you, because I would die without you. Love without you is a contradiction. Life without you is cheap fiction. So in exchange for this love you've provided, this alien exquisite feeling, this beautiful riot you have incited, I have decided to give you all that I am, and without cause for you to dispute, replace the pain and neglect with my love, my respect, and in effect, pay you this tribute.
what's the beauty of spoken word to you? Like, because something drew you to it.
Right.
So what drew you to it that made you say, this is my universal vehicle. This is my conduit. What drew you to it?
I'll tell you what, and we were talking about some of my influences earlier, and one of my biggest influences as a poet, and I forgot to mention, was Big Rube. He's a poet out of Atlanta. Anybody who's heard an Outkast album has heard this poet on their CDs. And there was an album he did with Sleepy Brown and a few others on a group called Society of Soul.
Okay, first of all, shout out to the Dungeon family.
Yes, indeed.
Boom.
So the Big Rube comes on this song called Embrace 2. It's a remix of the song Embrace. Mm-hmm. And he has this flow to him. and I've at this point I've written poetry. I've done all different styles in high school and everything like that. But hearing this man, he had a way of bringing me into the work without convincing me to listen to him. Made me want to follow it, and just listening to his words made me want to. As I broke down what he was saying, I was being unraveled myself. Between him and a poet I know from Dallas, a good friend of mine, who also had a direct influence, Tina Journey Johnson. Between the two of them listening, I knew that my work had to evolve. Not to keep up with them, but I was inspired by them. But that can also happen in any art form. You can either be inspired or you can want to emulate because you want some attention. And I knew that as a person, by listening to both those poets, I myself was evolved. And I feel like art in and of itself, art is evolution.
For sure.
Art is the only real evolution.
Absolutely. And the artists, it's kind of an oxymoron, I would say.
Right.
But and maybe that's not the correct term. Maybe I'll just say it's kind of ironic. But artists are the biggest supporter of the evolution of art, but are also the biggest stagnators of the evolution of art. You know what I mean? Because he's like, no, this is jazz. Jazz is supposed to be this.
Right.
This is spoken word. We're supposed to stick to the Langston Hughes script.
The gatekeepers.
We're supposed to stick gatekeepers. Yeah, I spoke on that, in another episode. It's like that thing is like, no, this is what it is. Like hip hop. I mean, so I told you I started rapping when I was 9 years old. I'm still a hip hop head at heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't call myself a head. Heads are like they know everybody's songs. I don't listen to a lot of shit. I listen to what I like. But I would say I love hip hop. Yeah. I love lyricism.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I love lyrics, like cats that can make art out of words. But even like, I started rapping in the late 80s. And at my age now, a few years ago, I've kind of gotten out of that. But I became a mad rapper at one time. Oh, these youngsters coming up, they ain't got no skills. They can't rap. The radio don't support real rap. It's like, but you can't control that shit.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like you put out your thing and you do your thing.
Right.
And there's somebody out there that want to hear what you're doing if it's nice. You know what I mean? If that's what you're talking about, hey, I'm nice, I'm dope. Well, go find the people that want to hear it, because there's a lot of people that actually do. And today with technology, we actually have the outlet to be able to find those people and them to find you.
And that's it.
And so it's like, what's up with that though? What's up? Why do artists not want to see the art form evolve?
It's not so much that they don't want to see it evolve. They're just upset that they themselves didn't create anything that may have contributed to the evolution. You
better talk that truth.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as controversial as he is, you think about Lil Nas X.
Okay.
Who has been doing his thing, on his own local scene. Yeah. He got with somebody on SoundCloud. And matter of fact, if you ever watch the video for Old Town Road, there's a kid that sees him on a horse and freaks out and nudges his dad. That kid is the dude he met on SoundCloud, created the beat, put it out there, and that was it. It's all subjective. You know what I'm saying? Now, you could be on the popular end of subjective, or you could be on the low end of subjective. But the true testament to who you are as an artist is whether or not is how you let that affect you. Okay. Because winning is just as bad as losing. You could you got how many times have you seen a lot of those mad rappers out there now who have been in the game for a whole minute, and everybody's like, I'm one of hip hop's purists. I'm one, and I don't get my flowers, and you got these lames out here, and I'm like, you wouldn't say that or feel that way if you were making just as much money as they are now.
Damn right.
You'd be all right with it.
No, you're telling the truth.
And I won't name any names, but it's like a lot of cats out there who are like, I don't even know why that's popping right now. The fact that you don't know why is why you're not popping. And I'm not saying emulate them, but I'm saying be content, be all right with them, and stay true to who you are. Because if you were really about this life, you wouldn't care how much money you were or weren't making. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't hurt. But my thing is, I have more respect for that artist who never got on, but is still writing, still singing, still performing wherever they want to, knowing they could be on elsewhere, not worried about whether or not ever they do get on, but they still have that hope, that aspiration, grinding no matter what. Like, my thing is, even if so much as nobody came to a Goldie Pipe show, which will never happen. But if so much as nobody came to a Goldie Pipe show, Goldie Pipes will still be Goldie Pipes somewhere.
Regardless.
And that's the testament.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those ones that get out there and they're successful, those are the ones that'll put out, after a while, they're successful because they just put out anything and they think that'll be okay.
So, I gotta address this. Arius, what camera am I looking at? What's my straight camera? Right here? You ain't gonna get this shit nowhere else besides the mud.
In the mud, baby.
The mud!
In the mud, baby.
This is where you gonna get this. This man just laid down a whole plethora of gospel. Plethora. I got some words, baby. I got a few of them.
Cornucopia.
That was gospel. Joe, you hit it on it.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It was like, because I was that guy for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was that guy for a little bit, like, because it's like, it was the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they ain't better than me. I'm, you know, da-da-da-da. I ain't gonna even front, but there's some people right now that are going into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame that if I didn't know any better, I swore they heard one of my tapes back in the day. I said tape for a reason, because that's how long I've been doing it.
Yeah.
I swore they heard my shit.
Yeah.
And now they're huge. You know what I mean? I know that well, maybe they heard me. I don't know. But they're just good. The universe feeds what it feeds.
Right.
And you know, if you got your antennas up, you pick up. If you got the skills and the talent, you go with it. So I was a mad rapper for a minute. I'm like, what the hell? What's up? These motherfuckers, I did that 10 years ago. Yeah. I still had a conversation. The difference now is I'm not angry about it anymore. Right. You know, it's like, you know what? If I did it then, I can do it again.
Yeah. It's like Hemingway said. Long story short, he said, don't try to be better than everybody next man. Be better than the man you were yesterday.
That's the shit.
When I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to wake up. The last thing I'm going to say to myself is, how can I beat Joe B's, whatever Joe B did today, how can I top that? Mm-hmm. Like today, I stood in my talent and I'm grateful to God for that. But tomorrow, I'm going to wake up wondering, what else can I do? Yeah. I'm gonna set an intention to grab that pen and pad and start writing, not to keep up with the poets that I see today, not to try to write what I hear, but to write what I hear inside of me. Because right now, all the thoughts, all the ideas I've had, well, they constantly plan a jailbreak. You know what I'm saying? Like something's gonna come out of me as soon as I make the time. Boom, 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 boom. And it doesn't have to be better than any other poet you know. It has to be better than the poet I was last year.
Yeah, right. I could dig that.
Yeah.
Andre 3000 actually spoke on something like that, you know, as far as him not putting out new music. Mm-hmm. He's been very transparent in the interviews that I've seen him in recently. And, you know, just about, you know, being self-conscious about, are you still fresh? Mm-hmm. Are you still relevant? Yeah. And what's going on? I used to have, it took me back, like, I had this conversation. You know, everybody have crews that they come up with, you know. So back in Houston and you know, my neighborhood, Carverdale, shout out to C, baby. Mm-hmm. We had our crew. Like everybody, you know, they come up in their crews. And over the years, you know, we were thick growing up. And then over the years, one or two people fall off. They don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. And then one or two fall off, and they don't want to do it anymore. Right. And then like now it's like 2 or 3 of us out of that whole 17, 18 of us that back when we started. Mm-hmm. It's like 2 or 3 of us still making music. Right. Just because, you know, it's just a grind. You know what I mean? And, but I had a conversation with one of them. He's like my little brother. And he would always just say like, man, you know, the game changed, man. They ain't trying to hear what I'm saying. And, you know, they ain't playing what we do no more. And, you know, all of that stuff. And it's like, I heard him. And I also saw the discouragement, you know, in him and it killed his artistry. It totally killed his artistry. And then what I saw, Joe, it didn't just kill his artistry. When it killed his artistry, it killed him. Mm-hmm. His whole life, his whole demeanor about life changed. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, you know, say his name because that's not what we're doing here. But I'm just, as a testimony so somebody can feel this. Right. Once his artistry was choked out of him, because he saw the industry change, and he didn't see his place in it anymore. His artistry was such a big part of him. Once that shit was choked out, I started seeing him make a decline. Yeah, as a man, you know, as a human being, and he's just not the same guy anymore. He was vivacious, super intelligent, he's not the same guy anymore because his artistry got choked. Like we spoke a little earlier, you know, like just some challenges that, you know, you faced as an artist, and you felt like, and I've been here so many times. Shout out to my cousin. He got so many names: Glock 9 Gaddafi. I call him Cake, Skiggy. You know, 100 names. But I went through that same thing several times, and he wouldn't let me quit. I wanted to quit, and he wouldn't let me. Like he literally would call me up, Dave, what's up? What you doing? I'm sitting around the house, man, eating some noodles, watching TV. They come to the studio. I don't know, damn studio. No. Just come to the studio. I want you to do this hook for me real quick. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can sing in my sleep. So I go up there and do a hook before I know it. He knew what he was doing. Because before I know it, now I'm recording the 100 hooks. I'm writing verses. That type of thing. So what was it that how did you feel when you felt like you didn't want to do it no more? Like what was that?
That's self-honesty. In my opinion, self-honesty by itself is a superpower. I had to look in the mirror, and I had this. On the days where I didn't feel, on the day where I most felt like not doing it anymore, I had to be honest with myself and say, "You don't want to do it because it's not doing anything for you. You don't want to do it because you don't walk out there and say a poem, and there isn't mountains of praise and a big slow golf clap that builds into raucous fucking applause and all that other shit. You do it because it's in you and it's given. Everything I do, in and outside of poetry, is tied into acts of service. I was given a gift to be given. That's my only motivation. Whether when I wake up, if I know I'm going to work that day, if I know I'm going to spit, then I wake up every morning saying I'm going to get that one. There's somebody in that crowd that needs what I have to say. And I was woken up this morning to give that message to that person. Now, maybe they're the epicenter and the message spreads to everybody and everybody else feels it. But I know I'm going to get that one. I'm going to go to sleep knowing I was content that I was of service that day. So that's my main motivation. I'm not worried about who does or doesn't buy my book. I want people to buy my book, but I'm not doing it because I'm worried about who's not going to buy my book or whatever CD I come out with or whatever. I'm on a mission straight up. If you book me, you don't, but somebody is going to hear me and get that message I got to give. Tell yourself you can't. Tell yourself not today. Say you're not able, you're too hot, you're too cold, you can't afford it, and nobody else wants to. Why does it always have to be you? You don't feel right. This doesn't feel right to me. They're gonna say no, or they're gonna say yes, or they won't say anything, and you'll fail. You'll fail, and they'll laugh, and you will die. You'll die right there, so just tell yourself anything to avoid or evade. Hey, let's just cite every drawback, cop out. Tell yourself anything to help you believe you should do nothing, and say it loud enough for me to hear you. So I can call you a liar to your face. So I can grab you by your neck, pull you from the muck and mire of your self-pity, just to wash you with the waters of what I believe, because I believe you should end. I think you should die. I think your life should cease. So you can live the life you've held on back order, like the shoe actually fit. You're not allergic to the light, you just don't want it on you, and I don't get it, because that's all I've ever seen come out of you when your arms aren't folded. Let's acknowledge that you even have arms. I mean, quit complaining that you don't have the strength, because if that was the truth, you wouldn't hold on to shit like you do. You are not a prisoner. You're a warden in a one-person jail, and what's worse, you're a workaholic. I mean, wreak havoc on your hopelessness. Subtract it from the whole of you. Believe a little less than your doubts. You can't say that this is pointless if you don't pick yourself up and look. Look where it's pointing you. Scream, I love you in a crowd loud enough for just you to hear it and just revel in all that nervous happiness. I believe that is called glowing. You're everything you wish you were, you just don't wish to realize it. Pass on the plates of outside opinion, unless you can be fed without suffering the indigestion of indecision. Turn why didn't I into why didn't I sooner? Change, I don't know, from question to statement, and quit whining unless you're trying to make somebody laugh, thereby making yourself a superhero. Accept your own friend requests and quit fighting with yourself unless you're just borrowing for when you need to get it on with anyone, and I mean anyone trying to knock you down. I'm not saying look for a fight. I'm saying don't run from it. Pretending it's not there doesn't mean it plays a long file or restraining order on your self-restraint. And be the devil under each of those demons that you carry just because you created them don't mean they get an easy ride today. And quit reading all your little motivational posters because we know you aren't listening. You're probably not even paying attention to the damn poem. It's called life. And it happens. And it's not yours. It never has been. It's path. It's gonna twist and it's gonna turn and you will go where it goes. But I heard if you walk it just right, you get to rest while those not as far along as you ask you for the directions. And should you reach the very end, there's only everything waiting for you with the honor of a memory. I mean, you're so much more than your misery, but it's not up to me to be you. I'm just happy I know you. I'm gonna always be there. I mean, behind you, beside you, above you, with all those who love you, waiting for you to erupt from your thick husk, cut through the callus of your conditioning and call whatever crawls out your character. To finally accept the truth that you won't hear as you've adhered to your cherished fears that we are amazing. That we are made of both his and each other's love, that we are both fearfully and wonderfully made, that we are made of stronger things.
Well, Trybal Klef heard you. Shout out to Trybal Klef Productions.
Gang, gang.
So Trybal Klef, I talked to my business partner. Shout out to my man CG. CG, where you at? Yo. So CG and I, we definitely discussed it, and we're 100% behind you. So
Yes, sir.
Joe B will have a badass album coming out. So don't get it twisted.
And I very much appreciate that because it's like they say in Ocean's 11, it's always a pleasure working with proper villains. And at a certain point in my life, I started surrounding myself more and more with consummate artists, with people who are here to work instead of just here for the validation or whatever, because those people charge me. If I'm in a room, if I'm in a space where I'm leading the pack, then I need to be somewhere else. Yeah. So I need to be with people that I can keep up with, or people that make me want to keep up with them. I need to be with people that I can keep up with.
No, before that.
Bring back screen. If I'm in a space where I'm leading the pack, then I need to be somewhere else. Man. That's it. Man. And one thing about working with you, with CG, and so many other artists in y'all circle is that if y'all don't, and even in especially Ritual, if y'all don't keep up with me, y'all make me want to keep up with y'all. Man. You know? See, that egotistical shit, man, you know. Yeah. You're not on that. Joe, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to have an ego. Yeah. You know, it's like, that's crazy, because you know what? You're damn right. You know, a lot of cats want to be that one. Yeah. In the room, and then they get intimidated by the talent of the ones around them. I get empowered by that shit. Like, literally, it makes my balls tingle. Yeah, if I could say that. I love powerful. Shout out to my whole crew. Shout out to Arius. Shout out to CG, Phil. Shout out to KJ. Shout out to Charlie. Charlie, what's up, baby? Hey-o. You know, I got some dope people around me. Yeah, like I didn't realize somebody told me a while ago that I had a built-in metronome. I didn't realize what that was until I started performing with bands. And even now, like if I'm performing in a group and CG is on drums, he has a way of playing anybody he performs with, as long as he's with them, they have a way of performing in a way that makes me want to speed up, slow down, pace myself, or whatever. And it's a power that comes out of me that doesn't happen by itself when I'm by myself on stage. So it makes me better every time I jam with y'all. Though that's what it's about. Yeah. It's about having the best people around you in your life, even if they're better than you, especially if they're better than you. That's the only way I'm going to get better. Because it's going to make you get better. It's like, but the people are so intimidated. I've experienced that a lot. But, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think it's a mindset. I think it's a maturity thing. Right. You know, you don't want to just get up there and, hey, look at me. I'm the big shit. You know, I got the biggest penis in the room. Yeah. Look. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you make sure no porn stars, just little peckers. A woman told me one time, she said, baby, you don't have to have the biggest dick in the room. Just don't be the biggest dick in the room.
I can dig that. So
yeah.
Let's I want to hear from you on this, man. So you from Oklahoma. I'm not going to hold that against you. You're not from Oklahoma. You were born in Oklahoma.
Red dirt, baby.
You were born in Oklahoma.
I was born in Oklahoma.
From Texas. Because you got to Texas as quick as you could when you were 2 years old.
Yes, I did.
Told your mama.
Yes,
Texas. So coming up in Killeen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Killeen is known as a military town.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was it? Like, did that have anything did it spank your ass anyway? You know what I mean? Make you...
It did not have a lot of what it has now. It's a military town.
Yeah.
So most times, a town where the military is the main income, it's going to be a cultural terrarium to where everything, the basic things are there. But if it ain't available on TV, in a strip club or a pawn shop, back then your chances were very slim. There was not a lot of access to culture. There wasn't a bus line. I lived too far away from the library to walk. And whether it's any kind of inspiration or information, you got to treat either one like seconds at the dinner table. After that first plate, you ain't a guest. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get up and you got to go find something. And growing up to where the TV just, as much as I love TV, I knew that wasn't a source for me. So, books all the time. My mother, I used to ask her questions all the time when I was about 2 or 4. She brought me a dictionary. As soon as I was done with the dictionary, she got me an encyclopedia. As soon as I was done with the encyclopedia, she got me a subscription to Omni magazine. And then the internet came out and she was like, whew, shit. She was happy. But my mind has always been hungry. And in a town where there's nothing, what that does is that drives you to either find what you can find, and what you find can either come from out there, and if there's nothing, then you can find things inside yourself. Yeah. You can make your imagination the final frontier, and it'll help you. And that's helped me now to where even in a city where there's so many things to do, it drives me to like find even more opportunities.
Yeah, you like saying some stuff, man. Like you said, every time you start, you paint pictures in my mind when you speak. And it just reminded me of butterflies in the sky. Yeah, it just took me to reading Rainbow. Shout out to LeVar Burton. Man.
Yes.
Man, LeVar Burton is an icon in our community. So we got to wrap this thing up, man. Okay. Look, it's been, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
I'm sure when the cameras go off, we're probably gonna talk another 3-4 hours, knowing me and you.
Pretty much.
I gotta go home. I ain't got all.
Listen. I gotta get all the way back.
Shout out to you. You know, for being a great friend.
Thank you, brother.
You know,
Likewise.
a great brother, man. I always got my back whenever I pick up the phone.
You already know.
You know what I mean? I got to give you your flowers. They don't know everything that go on between us, but I will say this. You're a great brother. You're a great friend. You're a great father. I really want to touch on some fatherhood stuff, man, but we got to get out of here, and we'll do that again later because I do know how much you love your children. Yeah. And I respect the shit out of I'll say particularly any brother, that really puts energy into their children. Yeah. I respect the shit out of it because we get bad raps, automatically. Yeah. Shout out to CG, my man. CG is a great father.
Yes.
Phil, great father. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. So, and I'm a hell of a father. But
you are.
I gotta shout me out, baby.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I sent from the time we came out when I met you with the Neo Soldiers, my man Hearn, RIP Hearn. The whole crew, everybody back in Pflugerville. What was the name of the place? Illusions.
You
know what I mean? Back in like 2000, what was it? 2006, 2007, maybe? No, 2008 that I met you.
About 2008.
About 2008. So, look, man, you've been a great man. You, from the time I met you, you have such a light about you. So I know that there's nothing but great, success coming your way. Yeah. If I got any damn thing to do with it, I'm going to make sure it comes because I love you. You know what I'm saying? We need more of you out there. So, y'all, this been my man.
Yes.
The Honorable Yusuf.
Yes, Brother Joe.
My brother Joe B. up in the place, man.
Yes, sir.
This has been The Mud. I got one thing to say to y'all mofos. Let's get muddy. Tell them, Joe.
Let's get muddy, baby.
And we out this thing.